What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Right Point of View YouTube channel with your girl, Ashley. And here we react to all kinds of controversial subjects. Could range from culture, individual liberties, conservative beliefs, you name it, we react. And if you're into that kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button and keep up with the channel. Now, today we are actually getting into something a little fun and interesting. CNN did a segment where they were talking with 10-year-olds and asking them, who would you vote for, Trump or Kamala? And they were actually asking them all kinds of questions about his charges, being a convicted felon, and all kinds of stuff, which, you know, they are the future. And obviously there is some influence based on their living and their parents and all that kind of stuff. But you'd be surprised to actually see how genuine and authentic some of these kids just sound, to speak in their minds, largely probably, like I said, around the influence of their parents or whoever they're around. However, I think it's fascinating nonetheless. And I think it's really good to kind of get into the minds of the younger people to see not just how adults feel and Gen Z, but the young kids. How are these things being impressed upon them? You know what I mean? These arguments, these debates, these topics that they're hearing, and they're like sponges, right? So it's nice to get a raw, unfiltered opinion from some of these younger people. So I won't talk too long because, you know, I'm going to do enough of that in this video already. But that being said, let's not wait any longer. Let's get right into it. And the channel starts now.
What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear the name Kamala Harris?
Liar. What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear Donald Trump? Pure evil.
Oh.
Which one do you think is more selfish?
Like selfish, probably.
Who? Kamala Harris?
Yeah, because girls are a little bit dramatic sometimes.
She definitely got that from her daddy.
The United States are ready to have another 4 years of Donald Trump if he's reelected?
No.
Why not?
Because, like, I feel like all he does is, like, complain and, like, yell.
The researchers found that opinions of the candidates from these 10 and 11-year-olds spanned a spectrum as wide as America.
Donald Trump, he's given his life and his heart.
She even shook hands with Mr. Trump to greet him before the debate, the start of the debate, which is pretty kind of when you're going against your opponent.
The study was designed by psychologist Ashley Landrum and political scientist Shanto Iyengar. Landrum conducted all the interviews and showed the students pictures of the candidates and asked them questions like,
Which one of these two do you think is more honest?
Which one of these two do you think would keep us safer if they were elected?
Landrum also showed them an emoji chart and a feelings chart and asked them questions like this.
I'm going to ask you how much you like each of these two candidates.
The questions were phrased to promote more open-ended conversations.
I live in an apartment. I want to get a house, but it's hard.
Okay, so things like that. I want to get a house, but it's hard. You don't know nothing about getting a house and it being hard, but obviously he hears his parents. And that's the important part, is these kids coming from different backgrounds, different income statuses, and types of households, you're going to probably see a variety of what their grievances are, right? Because of what they hear. So this kid says a house, definitely not his worry right now at this age, but probably something his parents talk about, maybe for some of his siblings, his older siblings, or maybe his parents actually having a hard time. So I think that'll be interesting through the video to kind of catch on to the attitudes of the children and maybe what they're picking up on home, dependent on their, I guess, where they fall, middle class, lower class, things like that, working class, you know what I mean?
One thing that the kids talked a lot about, former President Trump's legal issues.
How much do you like Donald Trump using that scale?
Probably, Donald Trump probably hates me for doing this, so,
You really don't like Donald Trump?
I mean, come on, he went to, like, jail,
To be clear, while Trump was booked and released from jail, he didn't spend time behind bars.
I'm glad CNN actually felt it necessary to clarify that, because I mean, most adults would know that, but even somebody watching this who maybe isn't tapped in like that and be like, wow, even the little kid knows he's a criminal and went to jail and blah, blah, blah. So I only point that out because we know CNN and their biases or biases, whatever. But yes, it is nice that they actually clarified, unlike those moderators by
32% of all
ABC.
students brought up the former president's legal issues. In general, kids who said they'd support Donald Trump did not see his legal problems as a disqualifier.
Hi, how are you doing today?
This was in May before Trump's conviction.
Should he be president again still?
Yeah, like we can say, for example, JFK. He cheated on his wife, but like people still loved him. George Washington.
That's crazy.
Those slave owners. Being a slave owner is really bad. It's a really bad thing. But they still had 2 terms. So I think even though Trump has done bad stuff, he still deserves to run for president.
Ooh, okay, so he made a very intelligent little point there, you know what I mean? Saying like, listen, there's been people in office that have done worse. Slave owners, cheated on their wives, whatever have you. And I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm sure we could name way more than that. And he's saying all is fair in presidential, runs in war. So I actually thought that was a very intelligent answer. He obviously probably, again, influenced by the parents or whatever he's hearing, but quite an observation, I'd say.
Now,
Which one of these 2 candidates do you think is more likely to do bad things?
Oh, convicted felon against a liar. Oh, let's say Trump because he's a convicted felon.
Do you think it's okay for
He would
somebody
vote
who
for
is a
Trump.
convicted felon to become president of the United States?
Yes.
many children were also very aware of the first assassination attempt on former President Trump.
And which one do you think is tougher? Donald Trump?
Because he did survive a gunshot.
And does anything else make him tougher, do you think? Or was it mostly his reaction to that?
He's also pretty brave. I mean, if I was president and I was talking in front of a lot of people, I would be really scared.
And why would something like that happen?
He is brave.
There's like a lot of cruel people in the world and stuff. And like, whenever something like that happens to them, they'll want to take it out on somebody else that they don't like.
Yeah. And how does that make you feel?
Kind of like nervous because like, and you never know, one day it could be you.
For Vice President Harris,
So, interesting temperament from her. I felt like, if we're going back to the influence of her home life, perhaps, seems like it's really weighing on her. You know what I mean? Like she just seems like peace and love. And I feel like the whole world really needs that, especially America, because it does seem like the division's really loud, right? And I think even the younger generations understand, like maybe they're seeing aunts and uncles at the Christmas dinner table or Thanksgiving, or mom and dad, maybe differences. So even in politics, for some of these young people, it is claiming a lot of hardship and heartache and negativity. You know what I mean? So that's just the energy I felt from her. Super cute girl.
students from both schools had a lot to say about her race and gender.
So do you think it matters more to voters that she's a woman or that she's a person of color?
I don't really care about what color she is. I just care about the personality and what she wants to do.
Do you think
OMG, did she just articulate herself better than most of the Democratic adults? I don't care about her being a woman or colored. I just care if she's a nice person and what she's going to do. The big question, what is she going to do? You know what I mean? And we could throw it at Trump too. I think personally, Trump has been pretty clear on his intentions with the White House. I just think that question leans more to Kamala. Definitely.
would be bothered at all by the fact that Kamala Harris is, half black and half
No,
Indian American?
no, because Barack Obama was elected twice, 2 terms, served all 8 years.
It'd be good for us to have a black woman as president for the first time in history.
Yeah.
But my vote's kind of still on Trump.
Ooh, I love it. Now, leave a comment if you think, were these kids like, are they, was this rehearsed, or does this seem natural? It seems natural to me. And, 10-year-olds are very, very smart. So we can't judge them too much because they're young. You'd be surprised. I mean, think about yourself. Like, it was grade 5. I was pretty advanced at grade 5, not politics advanced, but definitely, could hold a conversation. And it seems like these guys are tapped in, man. I love it.
Of all students our researcher talked to thought America was ready for a woman president of color.
And do you think people in the U.S. are ready for a woman president?
Yeah, because there hasn't been a woman president.
There hasn't been one yet.
The fact that she's a woman and she's black, that could help kids who are like her or are different feel a lot more accepted.
Still, some students had different views about gender.
I just feel like boys would probably be better as president, but she's pretty and stuff, but I just don't think a woman would be right for a president.
Yeah, so why do you think a woman wouldn't be right for a president in your view?
I think because only boys have been president before, and that they would be more stronger.
So probably her daddy, right? I don't know. But definitely, I'm not going to lie. I don't, here's my thing. I am not saying that a woman is incapable of holding one of the highest positions in the world, right? My thing is, not every woman is the same. Like, we're not all built for that. Here's what I think. I don't think we are naturally born to be like that. Like, we are, business, like, we're not naturally born to be like business people. Like, it's not a part of our nature. Can we? Of course, women can do anything. That's 100% true. But I think in terms of aligning with our nature, I think we complement the masculine. I think we are feminine. You know what I mean? Are there women who project more of a masculine energy that I think could handle a serious position like that? I'm sure there are. I just think it's going to take a very specific type of female, because I do find sometimes women are emotional. You know what I mean? And when you're handling a nuclear button, you want a woman who's able to park the emotions and actually look at it as it is and decide effectively. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that a woman can't do that at all. I just think that it takes a very special type of woman. It can't just be any woman. Definitely, I don't think it could be Kamala. That's for sure.
Overall, the biggest finding, the children in the study were polarized, with what researchers called more extreme responses from the blue state kids than the red state kids.
Donald Trump, he did bad things. He's like Hitler.
He only
Wow.
wanted to be president so that he can just...
Wow. We have to address that for a second. He's like Hitler? Would he even know who Hitler is? I don't know. What age do you learn about that stuff? But that's crazy, okay? And I have my opinions on some of those really aggressive talking points and how it's even led to possible assassinations. But it's trickled down even to the children. You know what I mean? So that is very telling on how effective a narrative like that can be.
Control everybody. Trump is supporting January 6th now. I remember that January 6th was a bunch of Republicans believing Trump. I feel like they thought Trump was a god.
Oh.
People got arrested. I think one officer died afterwards. That was a big day.
The study found that
I have so many things to say on that January 6th subject, because I truly believe, as most of us on the right side of the aisle do, that they knew what they were doing when blowing that. He's a threat to democracy. Like, they had to make it real. So they had to, paint that in a way. Was it a bad day people like Ashley Babbitt, yes. But all considered, I think it was pretty peaceful. It was patriotic. And that's what Trump called for. And we have to remember that and stop letting them trick us, right?
Landrum was also curious about how kids saw their peers in the political divide.
So, do you think that the kids that live in those two houses would be friends with each other?
They can. There's no law breaking that.
It doesn't matter if you are different by skin color, or it doesn't matter if you are different by people. You can still be friends.
Beautiful.
The study found that Republican-leaning kids were more open to visiting a Democrat-supporting household.
You know why? You know why all these studies show Republicans? And I hate to say this, because we're normal. Like, literally, we're just like normal people, like people on the conservative end. I truly believe we just have a good head on our bodies. We use our brain cells to think for ourselves and formulate an opinion rather than being driven, which I think the Democratic Party and the left in general is driven by just getting the base excited and emotional on something, like that fear mongering and fear, false evidence appearing real. They're really, really good. Like, Trump is a threat to democracy. Like, come on. It's just hitting the emotions. They don't care about facts. They don't care about free thinking. They just want to keep hammering away at these, sound bites and just hope that something sticks. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised at all that these kids are more level-headed and more open to, still hearing out a lefty, and you guys know what I mean. You're smart. All right, guys. So that is it. There is a longer clip, and I will attach it in the description, but I did want to kind of just react to some of those with you. I thought it would be fun. And I hope you enjoyed my commentary. I do believe that these young kids are an important part of getting into the minds of the younger people and what direction this country is going. And you can see by their responses that it is largely around parents' influence naturally, right? It makes sense. And some extreme, some not extreme. I thought there was some really level-headed responses there, even if they are influenced. It seems like even some of the kids even added a few little comments of their own, did seem authentic. So in short, I think that it's really split in the sense of information, right? Like, some people get it, understand it. Other people, I think, are still kind of in a position where they're given the information rather than to actually seek the information. So you see the two sides of the fence. Like, for me, someone who hates Trump hasn't done their research. You cannot like the guy because, he's not everybody's cup of tea. But if you hate the guy, I feel like you've been completely brainwashed, and that is probably why you haven't been able to really, to me, people like that are still with the bloodbath comments and find people on both sides. Like, those are the people I think hate Trump. People who were fed talking points and don't really, you know what I mean? But anyhow, always appreciate you staying with me through these reaction videos and giving me a platform to keep going. All your comments and your encouraging words have been so amazing. I cannot tell you guys enough how thankful I am to be in this position. I am trying to make this a full-time thing. This is my passion. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to contribute to the world and healing and just, kind of moving away from that really extreme liberal perspective to bringing in a little bit more conservatism. We need to start making our voices louder and be heard around the world. Okay, so thank you so much. Appreciate you. Please like this video and subscribe. Until next time, see you soon.